Yeah.
Or why you would buy a motorcycle that every day that they're open. They wheel the motorcycles out of the store onto the sidewalk and line them up, and then they wheel them back inside. They sit out there in the rain.
I mean, motorcycle dealerships are like car dealerships. Like, I never understood the business model of car dealerships until I learned that it's mostly a scam.
Mm-hmm. Pretty sure the motorcycle dealership is a scam.
Yep. Like, if I was going to buy a car, I would want to just go online, pick, like, I want this exact car.
That's what they do in Japan.
Yep, and I want someone to just deliver it to me.
In Japan, you do that. You just pick your exact car you want, and then they just bring it to you.
If I ever buy a car again and that's not how I can do it,
I wish I could do that with a bicycle. Right? Pick the exact bicycle stuff, and then someone just brings the bicycle.
Yep, but nope. I went to a bunch of bike shops, and then I picked a bike that they had in stock.
Oh, no, I told them which one to order because it was on sale. They ordered it and put it together.
Yep.
But I couldn't, like, be super specific, right? It's like, I remember I was forced to get the blue one.
Oh, yeah.
Which now has been fine, but,
All right.
I wouldn't have chosen blue at the beginning, but now I got the blue bike.
I like my white bike, except I have to clean it a lot, or it starts to look.
I definitely didn't want a white one. If it was white, I would have been like, no thanks.
Yep. That's why I paid them to vibration clean it last time, and it looks like it's new again.
For 5 minutes.
It still looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But that costs like $40 for them to do that cleaning. All right. Everything's going. It's Thursday, February 13th, 2020. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, cleaning. Because we're in our 30s, and that's what gets us excited.
It doesn't get excited, but that's just like...
I mean, people always make those jokes, but like, it is very funny to me that the things I get, like, I still get excited about my nerdy shit and video games and anime and like all my nonsense, but now I also get excited by things like getting a new armoire or like cleaning up my apartment. That's how life goes.
And it's like you're at work looking at the bad screen. You come home, look at the good screen.
Yeah.
It's like anything you do that's not at work, it can be exciting, especially when you have the mentality we do of always trying to do things in the best way.
Yep.
So even if it's a boring thing, it's like the fun part is not the thing. The fun part is, researching, trying to find the best one, the best technique, improving the technique. Right? That sort of thing.
That's why with a lot of games, like, as I get very good at them, I tend to lose interest in them.
Yep.
So, speaking of gaming, I'm that weirdo who has 2 keyboards on his desk.
Okay.
I have because when I type a lot, and I type really fast, and I like good clicky keys, so I have the Cherry MX Blues and my fancy DOS keyboard. But Cherry MX Blues suck for playing first-person shooters. They're a big problem for that.
Oh, yeah, you got to have some reds.
Yep, but the reds suck for typing.
I mean, they don't suck for typing. They're perfectly
not,
typable.
They're not.
They're not ideal, but it's fine.
Well, they're the Ford Escort of typing. They're better than a Chiclet. Like, not light years beyond, but they're the Ford Escort.
They're fine.
They're not fine compared to a Cherry MX Blue.
They're fine.
So I have my DOS keyboard, and then I also have sitting here, almost like one of those old organs, a smaller keyboard without the numpad. You don't need that for gaming. It has Cherry MX Reds in it, and that's what I game with.
Okay.
So the other day, I turned on my computer, and it wouldn't boot.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, that was scary.
Yep.
So I futzed with it a little bit, like won't even get into BIOS. So I do the like low-level troubleshooting, and it becomes pretty apparent there's a USB issue up because I notice that both keyboards, every time I turn the power on, the caps lock light and the scroll lock light are both red or blue, depending on which keyboard it is. One's red, one's blue. So I unplug the gaming keyboard, and everything's fine.
There's probably some sort of short in the keyboard that's messing up the whole thing.
Yep. So
bad USBs.
Yep. So I start investigating, and I'm not sure. I gotta test it now. I'm not sure if it's the keyboard or the cable, but I noticed something really bad about this keyboard that I never noticed before because it has a detachable cord. Cool.
Oh, you can replace it then.
Yeah, I could. And I thought, I'll replace the cord and see if that fixes it. And if it does or doesn't, that determines my next step. So I pull the cord out, and then I noticed something I'd never noticed. The connector to the keyboard is not USB, like I'm not going to get into the details.
Oh,
of USB.
my keyboard has a mini or micro. I forget.
Micro is the good one, the tiny one.
The point is, it's
Mini is the obsolete fucking one that's not used on anything
right.
anymore.
Well, it's used on quite a few things.
Not-
but yeah,
not-
it has been replaced by micro, but there is still lots of things that are just not updated.
Yep.
And still come with.
But not like
the-
most things that would have used mini. If they didn't go to micro, they ended up going to a full size like USB-C, like the big blocky one.
I have a few things that have mini on them still.
So yeah, the things I have that have mini on them are all things that are more than like a decade old.
I have like a rear bike light, and you charge it with mini.
Ugh, that's the worst.
And I have what else has mini?
Even my bike stuff is like micro. Like everything's micro except
most of it is, but there's still occasionally a thing I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's a mini thing. Wow.
But the only things I have that are mini are like decade-old bullshit, and apparently this one keyboard, I don't own a single USB mini cord.
Oh, I got a lot.
Yeah.
You need some?
Yeah. If you have one, I will borrow it from you.
I got some.
Yeah. So then I'll find out if this keyboard is broken, which I'll be sad about because I really like this keyboard, or if it's just that cord.
I mean, even if the keyboard's broken, all those switches are perfectly fine. You can just fix the board in the keyboard.
Probably, because there's not many things that can go wrong with a keyboard.
No.
There's a tiny chance something crazy went wrong with it, but then at that point, I don't care because I can afford to buy a new keyboard, and I've had this keyboard for like 5 years. So, yep, crisis averted. My computer boots fine now. The only problem my computer has is that it still can't wake up from sleep without me futzing with it. And I gave
it's
up.
the same thing that my stupid HTPC has.
Yep, and-
whereas if it goes to sleep, it actually just shuts down.
Yep.
And now I have to wake it up. I have to push the power button. I can't let it sleep and push the keyboard buttons to wake it.
Yep, and a few months ago, I actually tried, like, I'm a computer professional. I know
I
a
tried
lot.
all sorts of crazy shit to fix it, and it wouldn't fix.
I ended up, like, running Windows debugger shit, like, digging through system logs,
Yep.
and I determined, fuck that problem. I don't even care anymore. I'll just turn the stupid fucking computer off.
Well,
and
I just
disable sleep
leave
mode.
the HTPC on because it's.
Yeah, I'm not going to leave this computer on. This
No,
computer
no,
draws
no.
a lot of power.
Yeah, no.
And if it can't go to sleep, that's a problem.
Oh yeah.
So, got any news?
Yeah, so we usually, if we ever mention like any sort of awards show,
We
on
usually make fun of it.
GeekNights, we usually talk about how irrelevant, worthless, and garbage they are, and that opinion has not changed in any way whatsoever.
I always think back to Penn Jillette saying something to the effect of, every major award show on earth is just the high school whatever awards
Yep.
with fancier clothes.
Exactly.
Everyone in that audience is as bored as you were in high school. The only difference is they're being paid a lot of money to look like they're not bored.
Right. So I've actually come, the Korean award shows. At first, they're even more fake than the award shows we have here. Like,
Yep.
you think Oscars and Grammys are fake bullshit? It's like, at least they have, like, supposedly an academy of old white dudes, like, choosing, quote, the best thing, right? The Korean, like, award shows are literally, like, what's the choosing process? Whoever's the most popular and whoever shows up. If you show up, we're giving you an award. It's really just an excuse to have a bunch of performances. The awards are completely fake.
Yep.
They're not even really trying to hide that at all, right? It's like, and in some ways, at first, you're like, wow, this is even more fake. This is bullshit. But then you know what? You're like, wait, it's sort of actually good because you're being honest and saying, yeah, you're just here to watch the performances. The awards are just a contrivance.
Yep.
I wish that the award shows in the U.S. would do the same thing. But it's notable because the same thing always seems to happen is that people like us will say, these awards are not legitimate. They're a bunch of bullshit determined by old white guys. Why do you care who wins them?
I mean, remember...
Why do you, right? If someone wins it, it's like, what are you bragging about? A bunch of old white guys chose you? Pfft, whatever.
Yep. Remember when Big Hero 6 won the Oscar over things like Song of the Sea? And there was a quote from one of the people in the Academy who said they didn't watch those, quote, Chinese films.
Yeah, anyway.
Like, that's the level of the Oscars.
Right, so what do you care? So why would, that, like, if I'm Big Hero 6 is, someone who worked on that, it's like you're still proud of making that good thing.
Yeah.
But winning that Oscar gives me no pride whatsoever because it's a bullshit award, right? But anyway, so what's notable...
we won the Parsec Award in 2007.
Also a bullshit award. So...
Best anime podcast.
All right, so Parasite, that Rim still hasn't seen, won many.
You'll see it this weekend.
It's pretty much the champion of, Oscars, right? So, people are like, yeah, finally a not, white movie wins, right? It's like, I can't go back on what I said and be like, yay Parasite because yay what? Yay white guys acknowledged it? It's like, no. The take has to be the opposite. The opposite take, which is correct, is not hooray for Parasite, it won an Oscar. It's hooray, this movie was so good.
They couldn't ignore it.
Even old white guys couldn't ignore it. We don't care that it won. We care that the movie was so strong, right, that it punched the old white guys in the face so hard that they couldn't ignore it, right? Now,
I think there's a much more important takeaway. Finally, someone made two Oscars kiss.
Right. So another thing I got to say, right, is that, people were saying, oh, this is the first thing to win an Oscar that wasn't English language that had subtitles, right? At least for Best Picture, right? I guess there have been Oscars for foreign language films that had subtitles, right? And then I said, wait a fucking minute, right? Film people, right, are fucking crazy about, not even, movies that involve non-white dudes. We're talking like, Fellini's or Kurosawa.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Kurosawa's not white, but he's still an old dude, right? Right? They're crazy about these foreign movies, right? Seven Samurai and 8.5. Right? Film people fucking love those movies. That's like a movie any of those old white guys.
I think they only like them because they're old.
Any of those Academy guys. Well, I don't like 8.5, but I like. Anyway, the point is, any of those Academy guys would say that those movies are like, oh, so great. Oh my god, the best, right?
Yeah.
But if you look, they didn't fucking win any Oscars.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't win the Oscar for Best Picture. Right? So that made me think of another thing. And that is, when we look at sports, right? There's sports, the subjectivity to them because, there's things like penalties, but for the most part, they're objective, right? There was a thing that happened. There was a clear winner.
If you win the Stanley Cup, you're pretty much the best team at hockey.
Unless there was cheating going on, there shouldn't be any, revoking or undoing, right? But Oscars, Grammys, these sorts of things are just completely subjective. Right? What was the best movie in 1962? Right? I just picked a random year, right? And it's like in 1962, they thought it was movie A. Well, given us, 60 years of thinking about it, right? If we say, wait a minute, there was this way better movie in 1962 that didn't win, that's a bunch of bullshit. There is absolutely no reason for us to not just edit the Oscars and say, you know what? No, you didn't win it. That was the best movie that year. There's no reason not to.
I saw a great thing pointing out that
we should be constantly, in fact, reevaluating what the best was in the given years for all these awards for them to have any legitimacy whatsoever. Even if you get rid of the white guys, that would only affect the legitimacy of the current year.
I would make a much more nuanced point. This is much like when we get similarly heated about how conventions track their attendance. There's a lot of different ways to count it. It's the same thing. You can have all these different. You could say, what was this movie of this year in the context of that year and the sensibilities of that time based on a set of criteria versus in light of all films since then.
But it's still based on. At the time, their system was still old white guys choosing, the same system they have today.
Yeah, but that's one metric. Another metric would be, what was the box office gross in that year?
Not only should we get rid of the old white guys to have different people do the choosing, but they should re-choose for every year ever to give legitimacy to the entire thing.
The thing is, I don't know how many. I think after about a decade, like a few decades, the choices wouldn't change much.
No, I don't think there wouldn't be that many changes, but there would be, there are still some significant oversights. Do you know how many Oscars the Stanley Kubrick won ever?
0, right? One.
He won. It was like for effects in 2001. I saw that Oscar. It's in the museum right over there. The real one. That's kind of wrong, right? I mean, yeah, Stanley Kubrick was a white dude, but that's wrong, right? You can't tell me that, right? That's right. That's how it should have been. We can go back and fix that, right?
Yeah, I mean, mostly I just don't watch the Oscars because they're boring.
No, I haven't watched any of these award shows in a zillion years, and I don't go and look up either what the winners are, but you're inevitably faced with them on Twitter.
Years ago when I went on a ski
also,
trip.
Parasite is fucking great and deserved to be the best picture. They got it right. I'm not lying. I'm not going to deny that.
Years and
go
years
see
ago,
that shit.
I went on a week-long ski trip during the Super Bowl, and all of us on the trip agreed just to, as an experiment, see how long we could go not knowing who won the Super Bowl. And I made it about a week. But that was Twitter existed, but it was an earlier day of Twitter compared to today. I feel like I could not avoid it today.
Here's the thing, even though you might remember that the Chiefs won the Super Bowl this year, right? If you just wait long enough, who won the Super Bowl 4 years ago?
No, pick a random year. I don't fucking remember who won the Super Bowl.
Exactly. So it's like this.
In fact, unless it's a team
in fact, we know that Parasite won Best Picture this year, right? What won Best Picture last year?
I already forgot.
That's right. So knowing is only a
La La
brief.
Land? I want to say La La Land.
I think that won, but
The year before?
Nah, I don't think that was last year. You're gonna Google it and now remember.
I am going to Google it now. 2017. Good Lord. Okay.
Right. So yeah. You never fucking remember what won last year. So it's knowing isn't a permanent thing.
Dude, I don't remember who won the Stanley Cup more than a few years ago unless it's a team I specifically care about.
I remember teams that have won cups recently, but I could not, from memory, be 100% correct putting each team on the year. I would just sort of vaguely, get close. I'd be like, yeah, the Caps got drunk. That was, 2 years ago? And then the Blues. So it was Blues, Caps, fucking someone else.
You know what? Because it wasn't.
There were a few Penguins ones back there.
Yeah, it wasn't the Rangers.
Right. Yeah. Well, definitely wasn't Rangers.
Yeah. Hey, we're not out of playoff contention yet, technically.
Right. Anyway.
So some other news. You've probably seen there's multiple cruise ships that are basically under quarantine.
Well, a cruise ship is giant, full of food, luxurious, so it's not a bad place to be quarantined.
Yes, it is. So I want to
unless it runs out of food.
No, I want to talk about that because I realized something. One, most cruises are awful because they're basically just floating Marriott hotels filled with disease.
Yes, I'm aware of this, but I mean, I'd rather be quarantined in a Marriott hotel than
because
a worse place.
Think of it more like an airplane. Most of the people on a cruise ship...
That's a bad place to be quarantined.
Yeah, most of the people on a cruise ship are in rooms smaller, like half the size of this room.
But the whole ship is an island. You can walk around.
No, you're confined to your room if there's a quarantine.
Well, that's some bullshit.
Just
quarantine the boat. Don't quarantine the individual people.
No, because a bunch of people on the boat have a disease.
Yeah, so let it spread to everyone on the boat.
No, then a bunch of them will die.
As long as it doesn't spread to anyone not on the boat.
The point is also to protect the people on the boat from the other people on the boat.
Oh, well, I mean, you could at least move the people around in a strategic way to give, the bottom floor to the diseased people.
Yeah, so you realize here's the problem with being quarantined on a boat is, one, most people on cruises are in tiny, tiny rooms that are basically just a cot, and they're all trapped in these tiny little jail cells.
No, isn't there a medical area that you can quarantine them in?
Yeah, that has room.
You watch Alien, right?
Scott, that has room for 6 people.
They quarantine the dude who's got the alien in his stomach and the medical.
No, that doesn't work because one, diseases like coronavirus spread before you're symptomatic. You're contagious before you're symptomatic.
Yeah.
And two, unless you go without symptoms for 14 days, you might be getting it.
Right, but here's the deal. The person's in their quarters, right?
They don't know who else might have it until they wait 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
You could bring a little bubble to their door.
Yeah, but then some other random person might have been exposed to it a day ago, and if that person walks around, they'll spread it. So the people on these boats, the only people who are having a good time are the handful of people who paid a lot of money to have a room the size of this room as opposed to a cot in a tiny jail cell. Mm-hmm. Because people don't spend any time in their rooms on cruises.
How are you getting food in the tiny room?
So the staff are delivering special meals.
But the staff are allowed to move around, but you're stuck in your room?
Because the staff...
Why aren't the staff quarantined?
Because the staff are outboard people who are brought in who are definitely not sick and are wearing protective gear.
Oh, so the people who were staff on the boat
are generally also quarantined, as far as I can tell.
to their staff quarters.
Yeah.
So the captain is quarantined?
I
they brought in an alternate captain.
I don't know all
the
details. All I know is the reality is...
But the disease could be on stuff. So even if you let's say...
Not really. Not.
No?
I don't think you... Do you know anything about the coronavirus?
So if the captain was sick and now the captain's quarantined in the captain's cabin, and now a temporary captain comes in from the outside who definitely isn't sick and is touching the ship's wheel that the captain coughed all over.
Probably okay.
Okay.
Probably okay.
All right. So you can touch the ship's wheel. The
so
captain
some of the
all
ships
over.
are rotating passengers. Certain people can go up to the deck for a half hour just to walk around a little bit, and then they're locked back in their room.
No.
So it's basically a living hell, from what I can gather, which just reinforces the idea that...
Never go on cruises, which was already my plan.
The only cruises I would ever consider are the ones that are in the Mediterranean that just take you to a bunch of cities, but never, ever, ever the cruise that is a bunch of boring people go out to the middle of the ocean and just stay in a Marriott for a week, like a princess cruise or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all happening. In some other news that's kind of a crazy story, so I got to talk about it because it was just such a weird thing. So there's a pediatrician
Okay.
in America,
Okay.
and he committed suicide. That's tragic.
Okay.
He was beloved by the children and the families who used him.
So it was like the best doctor in town. Everyone loved them, and then they killed
He
themselves tragically.
was an anti-vaxxer
Uh-oh.
who apparently, now that his suicide note came out, had been faking vaccinations for anti-vax parents so that they could send their kids dangerously and illegally to school for like a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Even worse, he might have been giving parents who weren't anti-vax giving their kids fake vaccines because he disagreed with vaccination so much.
Uh-oh.
So now there's this tiny public health crisis because basically any family who used this doctor either might not have immunizations because they're a crazy, dangerous family, or might not have immunizations because the doctor was crazy and lied to them.
Mm-hmm. Why did the doctor kill themselves? Was it related to this?
Seems
Or
unrelated.
not? Okay.
The doctor seems crazy, and apparently...
Well, this is actually a thing I remember when I was in summer camp, right? When you work in a summer camp, something, it's like, think about at work, right? You always get sexual harassment trainings at work.
Yep.
When you work in a summer camp, they give you spot the pedophile training.
Yep.
Right? Because that's a lot of people go to work at summer camps because they're pedophiles, and it's a chance to be people come and bring their children to you.
I mean,
right?
at one point,
it's a super bad place for pedophiles to be.
I've gotten spot the person who is about to pass out because they're too drunk training.
Right. And basically, the description that they give you of someone to watch out for is the person who is like super too friendly, super too nice, right? The kind of description that matches like
bunch of popsicles.
no, not like that. That's an obviously creepy
Yeah.
person, right? But I remember the description that they gave, and this is at least 2 different trainings of different people. Was like my imagining would be like like a Ned Flanders, like a super friendly kind of person is the kind of attitude that the kind of person who is a pedophile going to a summer camp is likely to have that sort of personality. To where you would never suspect it was them. They were the friendliest, nicest person. That's how come people get close to them, right? Right? So it's no surprise that other sorts of crazy people, anti-vax type people, right? Just because you're wrong or dangerous or bad has no effect on your friendliness or niceness or how close people, in fact, cult leaders, right? It's like how it works. So, I don't judge people based on their niceness, friendliness, and such, negatively or positively. Right? I'm not going to assume that someone's a pedophile or a cult leader or an anti-vaxxer because they're too friendly. But I'm just saying there's no relation between that and what the person's really up to.
So the other interesting thing is it seems like a lot of the people who went to this doctor, it was like an open secret among the anti-vaxxer community that was the doctor to go to get everything faked.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like we also need a way for people, because they interviewed a bunch of people who went to the doctor, and one mother was like, I knew something was up with that fucko, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need any doctor who expresses like homeopathy interest should probably be like removed from doctoring.
No, there's a lot of things we had to do, but we're not doing them.
Yep.
Because that's so far down the list of fucked up, broken shit.
Yeah, because right
That's
now
the problem is the bigger your fucked up, broken shit, that let's say you have something big that's fucked up, like, I don't know, you spilled hot soup all over your fucking kitchen. The whole floor is hot soup, right?
Yep, I got to deal with that like right now.
Well, now let's say 100 small things break elsewhere in your apartment. They ain't getting fixed because you're dealing with the hot soup. So, right, we have this major brokenness going on in our country and world.
Yep, we spilled fascism all over the kitchen floor.
Right, climate changes, fascisms, diseases, right, that the number of small broken things is increasing exponentially, and no one is fixing them because you don't have time for
So,
that
like,
shit.
as much as I still think anyone who practices chiropractic should be charged with fraud and it should not be allowed to be practiced anywhere in the United States, that is the least of my concerns right now, and I'm not going to be an activist for banning chiropractic and homeopathy
We don't got
and
time for that right
acupuncture
now.
and all that nonsense until we get rid of the fascists.
I'm sorry.
At least in some better news, Scott won't watch the show because he doesn't watch live-action television in the United States ever, but The Good Place which only had 4 seasons, was a fantastic show. It ended. It was the exact right number of seasons. It didn't go on too long. And all I will say is if you did not watch the show and don't know anything about it, it is extremely, extremely adjacent to one particular culture book. It is a sci-fi, and it is really good.
I thought it was about like heaven. That's why it's the good place, and also hell.
Yeah. So
that's all I know about it.
It basically.
And I know that there's a TV show called The Good Place.
I'll tell you the act. I won't spoil.
That's
really
literally
anything.
all I know.
So here's the real plot. Someone wakes up.
Okay.
In like this weird room, and it says everything's fine. They're like, what? And this person's like, so you're dead, and congratulations, you're in the good place.
Or are you really? I've seen that Twilight Zone episode.
Oh, so the twist is, so it's heaven. Like everything's great for a while.
You sure it's not Twilight Zone episode?
Well, I've seen the whole thing.
Oh.
It's 4 seasons long.
Well, tell me, is it the Twilight Zone episode where
No,
just kidding, it's hell?
It's actually way more complicated than you might think.
Okay.
But at the end of the episode, the twist is basically the person who we're introduced to, the main character the whole time, goes to another character and is like, so yeah, I'm not the person that angel said I am, and I definitely don't belong here, so something's fucked up, and everyone else clearly belongs there, and it's either a mistake or something, and they don't know what to do.
So, like, I guess the equivalent of, I don't forget which saint is at the gate, whatever.
Yeah, the main character,
I don't know too much, the Jews don't know much about this.
The main angel's name is Michael, like, it's pretty on point there.
The point is, they fucked up somehow and let someone in who is bad.
Yep, and then what happens? And the show, what impressed me about it
Can't
the most...
imagine too much would happen. It would just be a bad person having a good time.
So, yeah, that's why it's only 4 seasons. Like,
you need 4 seasons to tell that? I think you should limit it to like the 30-minute Twilight Zone
well,
episodes.
because the cool thing about this show is
bad dude and you could also make 2 episodes. Bad guy gets into heaven and good guy goes to hell.
the
good guy goes to hell is way sadder. Don't make that. Never mind.
So
Just the bad guy goes to heaven one.
So there is a revelation at one point that the person that heaven thought this other person was is in the bad place.
Uh-oh.
So now the bad person has to decide what to do about that.
Uh-oh.
And
wait, why would the bad just... If there's, there's a literal God could just fucking fix it.
So much like Gnostic Christianity, you never see a God, you only see the angels. More like a Metatron situation.
They could still fix it.
Well, yeah, the show is about that. But my point is that...
I've seen Ghost Rider go into hell and fight demons enough times.
It's a show that was made in America with live action actors that is a serial, but it ends when it's done as opposed to going on for 10 more seasons or ending before it resolved everything.
Well, now knowing more than one sentence about it, I like it less.
Oh, all right. The other interesting thing about it is after you watch a couple episodes...
Unless you tell me there's parts where there's Ghost Rider fighting demons, then I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, all I'll say about it is that every time I thought...
But if you lie to me and I don't see Ghost Rider fighting demons and that's a Nutella horse lie, then I'll kill you.
Literally, every time I
and
thought...
send you to the bad place.
Okay, I think I know where this show is going. Like, I see what they're doing there. It would do a 180 or a 90-degree swerve off into something that I literally would never have expected, and I feel stupid for having not seen it. And the last thing I'll say about it is that shows like this, mostly looking at you, Star Trek, tend to have a very human-centric, like human sensibility-focused area where they could do something way transhumanist and weird.
Right.
This show goes into the transhumanist direction in a way I did not expect.
I like it slightly more now.
I was so happy that was the direction this show went that I cannot recommend this show enough. It is phenomenal. It is some of the best American TV I've seen forever. It is easily seen on the high seas. I guess there's a legal way to watch it, but I couldn't figure out a way to. I think the first couple
seasons...
seasons...
Is it like a Netflix show? Or
It's on like NBC.
Oh.
The crazy thing is, it's like broadcast TV, yet it was a serious good show.
Well, find a way to watch it without ads.
Yeah.
Sorry to anyone who watched it on NBC.
Yeah. I think like the first season's on Netflix.
It must be on one of the things.
Yeah, and you can go to the high seas for the rest.
I'm sure the NBC.com has it somewhere, right?
But
even if it costs money,
I highly
you can maybe
recommend
love in with someone's cable account, like your mom's cable account, and then watch it.
I'll never forget my favorite thing that Dorkly ever did was every time they said HBO, they like did a find replace in every script or any character ever in any show they made ever said the word HBO, and they always changed it to my mom's HBO Go account.
That's right.
All right. Oh, there's like 7 people watching here.
Go away, 7 people. You got something better to do. Even watching that show that Rim just talked about is better than watching GeekNights. So go do that.
Yeah, that show is way good. Janet's the best actor. But anyway, things of the day. I got two because they're just too good and too short. Number one, there is a photograph making the rounds because it won a wildlife photography award. It is a photo.
Oh, every year they give this award.
Yep.
It's always a good photo.
This is the best photo I have ever seen from that series. It is this like amazingly framed photograph of two mice having a fight on a subway platform.
Mm-hmm.
It is like this photo is just perfect.
So really, the thing about this photo, I think that makes it
it looks like the one mouse is like throttling the other one.
right is that you look at how they got the focus. Right, you can see that the shot had such a a narrow field of view.
Yep.
Right. But they managed, narrow depth of field, but they managed to get those tiny mice in focus. But meanwhile, everything behind and in front is out of focus. The only thing that's in the same distance from the camera as the mice is like this bench to the left.
Yep.
And even that's still a little bit closer. So that pulls like your eyes are just completely drawn to the mice and the mice only.
Even better.
And the rest of the frame is just like letting you know, yeah, this is in a subway station of some kind.
And even better, if you zoom in or look at it in black
I can't
and
even
white,
tell you where. I can just tell you it's not New York.
it's the London Underground.
Okay.
You can I see the logo there. But,
there it is.
But actually, the bench is slightly more in focus than the mice. But that actually makes, if you zoom in and like look at it in detail, but that almost makes it better because it really puts into stark contrast how tiny the mice are.
Well, the contrast is really from.
But the mice are also a black silhouette over a lighted background.
Because the station is completely white
Yep.
and well lit, much more well lit than any sort of New York station.
Yep.
And the mice are just completely
Except those
black.
new lights they put in the Vernon Jackson station that make it like.
Well, I guess the
bright.
Hudson Yard station's bright.
Yeah, dude, go to Vernon Jackson sometime. They put all these new like modern lights
I always
in.
wonder what would happen. Like you think about it, all these stations are underground. Right? It's like there's emergency lighting in case we know, but like
Yep.
imagine if the lights turned out and the emergency lights turned out, the subway would be pitch black. You wouldn't see.
Depends on which line. A lot of the lines are so close to the surface that there's actually vents you don't know about and a lot of light leaks in.
Some of them. But I'm saying like Hudson Yards, you wouldn't see fucking nothing. If all the lights and emergency lights failed, it would just be black.
Yep,
You
for like
would-
2 seconds.
You'd
and
be
then
like, oh, fuck me.
literally 90% of the people down there have a cell phone and we'd be fine.
Oh, right.
So my other thing of the day is a 10-second video of some amazing Japanese slapstick comedy. Dude puts a harmonica in his mouth and tapes his nose shut so he can only breathe through the harmonica, and his friend fucking wails on his shin with a pot.
Ow.
Yeah. Watch it with the sound on. It's funnier than it has any right to be.
Sorry to anyone who's hard of hearing and cannot appreciate
Yup.
this joke.
And the moment you think it was funny and you're ready to go, like watch it all the way to the end. It's only 10 seconds long. The last second of this video is twice as funny as the rest of the video.
Okay.
So what's your thing of the day?
So I wanted to link directly to Thing of the Day, but the problem is it was 3 different videos. So it's a good opportunity to branch into the meta moment a little bit. I made a
Oh.
post in our forum, and in that forum post, I embedded the 3 videos to make it for easy watching. And our forum is, even if you don't register, publicly visible to the entire internet.
Yep. Also,
So-
our forum's kind of rocking.
Yeah, so over the last weekend was the NWHL All-Star Games events. A lot
Yep.
of things going on there. And so it was
Like the speed skating competitions, like
Yeah.
all the stuff.
all that kind of stuff. And it was broadcast for completely free on Twitch. You could just watch it. And of course, because it was on Twitch, there's VODs. So if you missed
Yeah.
it, you can go back and watch it. And it came out to 3 VODs at the end of the day. So here's the 3 VODs in our forum. You can watch them 1, 2, 3 conveniently without having to go to Twitch and dig around or anything like that.
Not bad.
And you'll end up in our forum at the same time.
Yep. I remember me and Emily were at the first championship when they gave away the Isabel Cup the first time. And it was a good time. It was like standing room only.
Well, there'll be another one soon.
Yeah. So in the meta moment, the GeekNights Book Club book is The Tale of Genji. We're powering through it at some point.
I'm reading right along on the
Yep.
train, but I worry that once bike starts, I'll stop reading
So one thing, because I was
because I
going,
won't be on the train
I
as
was
much.
going kind of slow because I was trying to be 100% sure who was talking or who was being referred to at any point. I gave up on that shit because I can't tell.
Right, I'm at the point where it's
Third
like
person
I know
pronouns
I just
are just
need
fucked.
I just need to know who's in the conversation, and it's like, okay, these people had a conversation about this. I don't know
Yep.
which one said what, and it doesn't really matter.
Yep. and especially when a person is referred to through like multiple layers of allegory, if I don't immediately recognize who the character is, I don't try to figure it out anymore.
No.
Unless I get confused. I just move on.
Yep.
Just
Especially
steamroll
there's
through.
multiple different ways to refer to the same person.
Yep.
Anyway.
I also started reading more about that period. Now I understand the difference between like why there's a minister of the left and the right.
I don't understand the left and the right still.
I understand it enough to read this book with a lot more context.
Okay.
Basically,
maybe I should research it again in the appendix.
imagine I'm going to super simplify and be kind of wrong
there's
about
an
it.
emperor.
So there's an emperor.
Yep.
Because the administration is so large and complex of a nation of this size and scale.
Without technology, yeah.
Coupled with a bunch of Confucianism and like Chinese government ideas that were imported and other things from the era.
Yeah.
You divide the country into two sides as an arbitrary means of administration. You got the left and the right. You have equal equivalent offices on both sides, just as a way, kind of like Diocletian with the Roman Empire. Like, let's just split it in two. It's kind of like that.
Okay.
It just so happens that, I don't want to get it wrong, the people who liked Genji were on the left. The people who didn't like Genji were on the right.
All right. Oh,
That's
good.
kind of why Genji gets into some shit.
That's helpful. I will keep that in mind.
Like, that actually really helped me understand what's going on.
Okay. That's good info for me.
And there is a long forward in the book. If you go back and read it.
I did read it, but it didn't help me too much.
Yeah, it explains that a little bit.
I don't remember too much either.
Go read Wikipedia articles about that era, and it makes way more sense.
All right.
Because the forward tries to explain that, but gets distracted.
All right. So some other meta things. So first of all, we're trying to update the technology a little bit. I got GeekNights onto Spotify. So GeekNights is available wherever podcasts are delivered for free.
And even better, this is kind of crazy.
We're on Google Play, we're on iTunes, we're on Spotify.
Every episode of GeekNights
Yes, I went through a lot
on Spotify.
Libsyn's really crappy, but I went through a lot of effort and harassed people.
Well, I'm going to qualify
I got
that.
every episode of GeekNights.
I'm going to qualify that by Libsyn is not crappy so much as we are some of the earliest customers.
They don't have an API. They only have FTP as a means of integrating with them.
Well, I've realized something about podcasting in general. Almost no one has a professional technology pipeline for podcasting.
There's one that had a very simple API, but had an API.
Yeah,
that let you post an episode, edit an episode, and delete an episode.
I've seen the inside of several like professional podcasting organizations. Even like super pros are way less automated than we are. It's kind of sad. Like, I think I literally think Scott and I have a more technologically sophisticated podcast production pipeline than almost any professional podcaster on earth.
Anyway,
that scares me.
The point is,
no one needs APIs but us.
GeekNights you're listening to GeekNights already, but it's everywhere, right? And we'll take this opportunity to, if you notice any technical problems because of the changes I made, like maybe this episode won't go up.
Because the last episode didn't go up right away on the feed. It went up everywhere but the feed.
Yeah, there were some problems, but in case you notice any problems, that's because we're working on stuff. We'll fix it quickly.
Yep.
We're keeping an eye on it.
We're in the middle of kind of a big upgrade of our tech stack in general.
Yeah. And I'll just remind you of all the different places that you can find Geek Night stuff. We got Twitters.
Yep.
We got 2 different YouTubes.
Yep.
Right? The Rim's YouTube and my YouTube.
Yep.
We
have a Patreon, which is both a backup for the main show. You can always listen there. And I want to point out, almost everything we post to the Patreon is free. Like, you don't need to give us any money to access any of that stuff.
Yeah, you can go to the Patreon without paying. If you do pay, you'll give Rim money. Don't do that.
Yeah, you also get some custom stuff. You get some Rim's rants. You get some Rimly reviews. You get, for example, we did a panel that we didn't video at MagFest, and I posted the audio of that panel and the slides, stuff like that.
Yeah, we got an Instagram that I'm trying to use. You know, we got pretty much everywhere there's a thing, we got a thing. And we have a Discord, and we got the forum on our website. Don't forget that one. I just mentioned it in the thing of the day part. We got Discord that was made by a listener, and we were kind of on Discord, but now it's like, well, I guess whatever, right?
Well, because all the other things that could do what Discord died.
Anyway, so that's basically, the unofficial official Geek Nights Discord.
Yep.
And what I found out was, I got Twitch also, but there's when you want to stream video games on YouTube, Twitch, right? It's kind of like a hassle, right? You got to set up all kinds of stuff. You got to use OBS. You got all this stuff. What happens is when you have Discord installed and open, if you start a video game, just launch a video game on Steam or anywhere, Discord just pops up and is like, hey, bro, I see you're playing a video game. You want to stream that on Discord? And you literally, not even exaggerating, you push one fucking button, just one button, and just say, yes. And it immediately, boom, that game that you're playing is now streaming in a Discord channel on the server, right? And anyone, and I think up to however many people can fit into a Discord, audio chat room can come into that chat room and watch the game that you're streaming and also chat if they got microphones or listen if they got speakers or headphones. And since, less people are going to find you this way if you do this, because obviously you're not listed on Twitch or YouTube or anywhere, but it's so convenient and easy to do, so low effort that I've been doing it because it's just like, I'm playing a game on my PC. Might as well click one fucking button. And then, oh, look, listeners happen to pop in and chat. Okay. And it's a small number of people, so it's totally easy to handle. So you should go to the GeekNights official, unofficial Discord, and maybe you'll see a little pop-up sign when I'm streaming a game or someone else is, and you can come in and chat. And if you can't find the GeekNights official, unofficial Discord, go to the GeekNights forum and ask around to find links to it.
Yep. I'm going to link to a bunch of this stuff in the post for this episode.
It's open to pretty much anyone, but then if you're bad, you'll get banned. So don't be bad.
Yep. And last and least, I don't have to tell you that you got to vote for Democrats in every election if you're an American, basically until the foreseeable future.
In fact, if you are not American, you should find a way to illegally vote for Democrats.
Yep.
And if you are any human being, you should find a way to illegally rig the election for Democrats. I mean,
yeah, apparently it's not illegal to rig our elections.
Right.
So
they just
come
voted.
In,
they voted against all these election security laws, which means the election's not going to be secure. So it is our moral duty to rig it in favor of the good.
Yep. So
I'm not even joking.
I want to remind everyone that back in...
Can I go to jail just for suggesting it?
I don't know. Free speech.
Deal with it.
So back in May of last year, the editorial board of GeekNights unanimously voted, meaning Scott and I said, Warren? Yeah, Warren. we endorsed Warren. We do believe Elizabeth Warren is the most qualified candidate in the Democrat field, and we want her to be president. She is still running. She's
If I
doing really well.
could just decide who of all the people on earth who would be president, that is who I would pick.
Yep.
That is not to say that other candidates aren't also great. It's like, all these Bernie people are super anti everyone else. It's like, you know what? Bernie is close second. I'll take an old Jewish guy. I'm gonna be an old Jewish guy.
I'll take literally any Democrat except Tulsi Gabbard because I think she's a Russian spy.
Right. It's like, I'm not a fan of Biden or Rim's boss.
I'll hold my nose and I'll vote for him if I have to.
But it's like, I'll take it.
I'll take anything. Blue, no matter, you vote for the Democrat.
It's
it literally doesn't matter.
I'm starving. I'll eat the fucking McDonald's.
Yep.
I just won't, I had enough poison. McDonald's is at least not literal poison. It's just, metaphorical poison.
But the point I really want to make, because we endorsed Warren, but in the end, I'm going to vote for any Democrat because we're in a literal crisis. But I want to point out something very clear. If you don't join a party in the United States, you don't matter at all. Nothing matters. You have no influence.
A lot of people, it's I used to think this way, so I understand.
A lot of people think this way. It's easy to fall into this trap.
I used to follow this line of thinking where it's I'll be independent because I'm independent. I hate the party system. The party system is bullshit, and I still believe that.
I do believe that.
Right. So I'm going to be independent, and I'll just vote for the person that I think is best in the general election. Fuck your party bullshit, right?
But one party is always the worst party.
Right. But what the literal thing that happens is pretty much in the vast majority of places in the country, right? One party just wins. In New York, you can't win if you're in the Republican Party, which means your vote in the general does not matter. Right? You need to, the primary is where you're actually choosing the person. So even if you join a party that's not your party, right? Maybe you're a fascist Republican. If you live in New York, you should join the Democratic Party because then you're actually going to be choosing who's going to win. You can choose the more right-wing Democrat and your vote will actually have an impact on who gets elected. If you just stay a Republican in New York and keep voting for whoever the fuck fascist they put out there, you're not going to win and it's pointless.
So what I would say is that the succinct way to put this is voting is not like this moral choice. Like you're not rooting for someone in this abstract way. Voting is very simple in the U.S. There are two power-seeking coalitions. You pick which one you want to have influence over, and then you pick which one you would like to see in power. That is the only choice you actually have.
Right. I saw people who were like, their principles, right, align with Bernie, and their principles don't align with anyone else, right? And
Which one is crazy because they overlap like 90%.
No, all right, but I'm saying that's what that person believes, right? Is they're against the other people for principled reasons, right? But the point is, it's like, okay, you will, seek power, right?
Yep.
If that person, and if it's not that person, you're not going to seek power. That means your principle is now unrepresented in the government, which is much worse.
Yep.
Than, right?
Voting for the Green Party is literally saying, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Who gets hurt?
It's like you're saying, I believe my vote doesn't matter, so I'll make it matter even less out of spite.
Yep.
Right?
So there's two coalitions. Pick the one that's closest to what you want.
You're seeking power. Your vote is literal power. Right? That you have. It's the power you have to do anything political.
You want like
right?
a far left radical? Join the Democrats and push them that way.
If you don't vote, you are not exerting that power at all. You're failing to use your power to move the world, your tiny piece of strength, right? It's like this tug of war, and you're just looking at the rope, and you're just not pulling either side. It's like, okay, well, then you didn't do anything to move it one way or the other.
Yep.
So now you can't complain about which way it moved at the end.
So, getting into the main bit, cleaning is something that I tried to avoid doing for most of my life.
Or only did certain kinds of cleaning and not other kinds.
Yep. Like, until I was an adult in my own apartment, I don't think I had ever once even considered the idea that the molding needed to be dusted.
Yeah, I don't dust still.
I dust.
I rarely dust.
Yeah.
And I don't. When I do dust, I don't dust all the things. There's certain things too hard to dust.
Yep. Well, so I was thinking about this partly because recently we bought a bunch of new furniture and got rid of a bunch of old stuff, and like I've been rejiggering a lot of the apartment. So I took apart the entire bedroom, deep cleaned it, and put it all back together. And then I did the same thing for the GeekNights studio. Like I took my entire desk apart, I pulled every cable out from under there, I put cable routing channels everywhere, and while I was doing that, I did a full deep clean. So what's your daily cleaning routine? Like daily, weekly,
really clean on a daily
all right,
basis.
so here's this: daily, weekly, monthly, yearly.
Well, I mean, I should do
And
dishes
never.
more daily, but what ends up happening is they pile a bit, and then I do them. So I do them a few times a week.
I thought
and
you had a dishwasher.
The dishwasher helps, yeah.
But the dishwasher does 95% of my dishes.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't run it every day.
No, but I put everything in the dishwasher as soon as I'm done with it.
I mean, sometimes, yeah.
100%. I never leave dirty stuff out unless the dishwasher is already full of clean stuff. As soon as I break the seal on the clean dishwasher, everything in that dishwasher gets put away and dirty stuff immediately goes into it.
Yeah, I just gotta have time to do it, right? Sometimes it's like, don't got time.
It takes less than 4 seconds to put something dirty in the dishwasher. You don't
Just
have 4
saying.
seconds?
Sometimes, I go and I sit at a table and I eat, and then I don't even bring the plates to the kitchen.
Wow, okay.
I'll go do
Wow.
Later on, I'll go collect everything.
That
Even-
explains a lot about when we lived together in Colony.
I'll clean it eventually. It's not like it goes to the point where it's like a problem. It's just, I'll clean it the next day or the day after.
All right, so is there any... Because I sweep the apartment every day.
No.
Well, I do a quick... Not like a deep...
When the carpet is looking meh and like it looks like there's all... Because like the carpet's easier to see. So if it looks like there's a bunch of garbage on the carpet, then I'll vacuum all the floor. Not just the carpet, all the floor.
All right, carpet. We don't have any carpet.
Well, I have a rug.
Yeah.
Right, but if I look at the rug, and if the rug's starting to look like there's a bunch of, bits of dirt and filth on it, then I will actually clean the counters and tables first, because that will sweep some filth onto
the order is
ground.
important. I always go top down. Like if I'm gonna
And
dust,
then I'll vacuum literally everything.
Yep. Like if I'm gonna dust, I dust first before I do literally anything else. Otherwise, there's no point.
Yeah.
Because I'm just gonna ruin what I just did.
I'll vacuum everything.
But no, I sweep the apartment literally every day, a quick sweep just to get up all the dust and stuff. And that actually makes a big difference on the general cleanliness of the apartment. I mop once a week, but like a quick like water mop, not like janitor mop like working at DeBella's.
See, the thing is, I don't mop, but I wish I had the janitor mop like DeBella's, because there's in the kitchen now. It'd be nice to have.
An unnamed person just pointed out in the live stream chat, the dishwasher fills and then it sits there clean. A cough. An unnamed person just said that. Just gonna point that out there.
Unnamed person should go back to work and stop wasting time watching podcasts.
Another unnamed person is listening from the other room right now with this. So when do you mop? Like, how often do you like sweep? Do you ever sweep your apartment?
No, I use the vacuum.
Okay. I have been using, we have a pretty good vacuum that I just didn't use that often because it's all hardwood. And we basically got rid, like, we only have one rug now and it's in the bunny room for the bunny because rabbits do not like to run on hardwood floors. Like, he hates the hardwood floor.
All right. Well, good.
Yeah.
Run away then.
Yeah. He'd, like, going out into the hallway, like, we had a rug rolled up in the hallway for a while. So he would, like, very carefully walk over the hardwood into the hallway, get up on that rug, and then run across the rug. So pretty much got to sweep because there's no other way to keep stuff clean, and then mop once a week, and that's pretty much it.
So the big problem I have, right, is bathroom cleaning, right? So I used to have, shower curtain, right? And shower curtain's real easy. You just don't use solid soap, and it doesn't really get scummy quickly at all.
So weirdly enough, I actually went back to using solid soap.
Anyway, the point is, it has you have a plastic, clear sheet on the inside, and then the clothy one on the outside.
No, fuck that. Only one sheet, just cloth. That's the way to go.
No. You gotta have two. Plastic inside, clothy outside.
No, the plastic gets disgusting.
No, it takes a long time, and then you just replace it.
Why would do that waste? Why not just have one? I have one sheet.
You never had to clean the clothy one. It always looks great, and it never gets wet or dirty or anything.
The cloth one dries immediately. It never gets dirty, and like once every couple months,
the cloth one will get moldy and disgusting.
So if it gets even slightly moldy, all you do is put it in the washing machine.
Yeah, I never had to do that.
Okay.
It's completely protected and
also,
beautiful and perfect and new at all times.
It breathes nicely when I'm in the shower, and I only have to wash it like once every several months.
You'd also, anyway, the other thing is now in the bathroom we use the shower in the most, we got the glass door.
Oh, you got to get the squeegee.
Well, I have a squeegee, but
you got to use the squeegee every time you shower, or there's no point.
Well, I tried to just, even before, forget preventing scum, right? Just a one-time clean of the glass door.
Yep.
It's like
I
have to do something severe. I tried 2 different ways to clean the glass door, and it did not work.
See, that maintenance cleaning aside, the thing that I
need to do that initial clean of the glass door, and I'm having a hard time.
I hate fully cleaning things like detail. Like if you do car work, like the detail clean, there's a reason why if you go to like a car wash, they charge you like $1 to use the machine to like vacuum out your car or whatever. But if you want someone to like actually detail clean your car, it's like $100.
Yep.
Because that shit takes forever and is a pain in the ass. I hate detail cleaning, and you'll notice anywhere I've ever lived, like the detail areas, like the inside of the grout in the corner always gets a little shitty because I'm just unwilling to deal with that. And then every now and then it gets too bad, and then I have a miserable 4 hours where I like...
Right, see, you're doing frequent, just kind of quick meh cleans,
No,
right?
frequent, quick meh cleaning greatly extends the time before a crisis.
See, I just do slightly less frequent but extensive cleans. Like when I go to clean that kitchen, it's like I clean every fucking dish.
Yep.
I scrub all the counters down till they're super shiny.
See, I do that every time I cook. I scrub the counters every time I cook.
Only a few times. Like I'll use on the.
I usually scrub while I'm cooking. I'm cleaning up the mess.
Like
I made.
I've lived in the apartment for a few months. I finally for the first time in the new apartment, I cleaned the top of the stove with Mr. Clean's Magic Eraser.
Oh.
Right. I do that every few months.
The one thing, back to the shower, the one thing that we both did a long time ago is I tried to use the like spray it on the walls every day after you shower and it'll keep the muck away. That shit doesn't work at all.
I don't know if I believe in that.
I stopped using it. It didn't work at all.
That didn't exist
anything.
when I was young, and it came into existence sometime when I was maybe in high school, middle school, and at least it came to my attention at that time.
It seemed like all it did was
it seemed to me like a scam to make you buy more shit.
It seemed like it didn't prevent mildew. It just added yet another layer of scum.
Anyway.
One thing I got.
So let's stick to the bathroom, right? So the turlet.
All right. I got a routine for the turlet.
Well, so the turlet, first of all, there's all sorts of like preventative things they sell for the toilet, I don't believe any of that garbage.
Well, the one
no tablets.
Don't put anything in the top tank.
No. Well, there's also ones where like you put like a goop on the side of the bowl, and right, there's all kinds of like things that they have for toilets to like prevent it from getting dirty, and those have never worked.
You shit in it. Just let it get dirty and clean it.
Yeah,
Like,
those have not functioned in my opinion. From my experience, I did some slight tests, not
So
super scientific, but mildly.
about once a week, I'll wipe the toilet down just with like toilet paper and then flush it like after I use the toilet. And then about once every couple weeks, I'll use disinfectant and just like clean out the bowl really quick. Like spray it in there, scrub it, flush it, and then I'm good. And like once a month, I'll disinfect the whole thing like by spraying it with a chemical.
Oh, you spray it. Oh, see what I do.
I just spray the whole toilet, like the outside, the handle, everything with like.
What about the inside?
And I just spray everything with disinfectant.
Oh, okay. So for the inside, as soon as I see stuff building up on the inside,
Yep, I put goop in there and then I scrub it with a toilet brush.
Right, I get the stuff in the bottle with the gooseneck.
Yep, the
right?
gooseneck. That's
and
pro.
you got to squeeze it all up in the groove.
Yep.
Right, and you got to make sure it 100% covers the inside of the bowl. No spots where it's not touching.
Because up in those grooves is where your smell's coming from, not
Right.
the bowl.
And then I just wait for like 15 minutes, and then I go with the toilet brush.
Yep.
And then I flush it.
I totally brush the hell out of it.
And I don't use no tablets or any
Nah.
preventative things, just that only.
If you need to super disinfect it, one thing I found is use a plunger or like the toilet brush to get the water out of the bowl, like push it over through the U-neck or the thing inside, so the bowl's empty. Then put the goop in and let it sit there for longer. But you don't need to do that often. You do that if like there's a problem in the toilet.
Yeah. So then your bathroom probably had like a sink. You just spray it and scrub it, right?
No, so yeah, the one of the thing that changed my life in terms of the bathroom the most is I bought a like pretty nice handheld like stiff bristle scrubber thing, and I clean everything but the toilet with that. Like I just scrub the inside of my. Well, the problem is the sink in our bathrooms in this building are nice, but they're big and kind of flat, so they don't really ever have water touching all the parts unless I fill them with water. So if I don't scrub it, gunk will accumulate pretty quickly. So I have to scrub it like every couple days.
Yeah. The problem I have in the new
Like
apartment
if I owned this place, I would
is
put different sinks in.
the sinks are good. The problem we have is these giant mirrors in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
And I'm even with like, it's like, okay, I got some Windex, I got the squeegee, I got whatever. I can't seem to figure out how to clean the mirror and not leave a bunch of streaks everywhere.
What?
There must be some special way to
I'm
do
gonna
it.
tell you, it'll feel a little wasteful, but this is the only way to keep a mirror like actually like spotless. Still use the Windex, like it has to be like real, like ammonia.
I got real Windex. It
Yep.
says Windex on
So
it.
spray it all over,
I
more
did
than you
that.
think you need.
Yeah, I
then
did that.
take paper towel
All right.
and wipe it down with paper towel.
I've tried to do that, and it always gets tricky.
I cannot imagine such a scenario.
I've tried to do that.
We can go into my bathroom right now, and you will see 0 streaks with that method and no other
well,
method.
I'll try the paper towel method again, but the last time I tried the paper towel method, it didn't work, and someone told me I should use newsprint, but I don't fucking have newsprint.
Don't use newsprint. Just use paper towel.
I never even tried that because it sounded so dumb. The
Yeah,
paper towel did not work.
I use newsprint as like fine sandpaper for nonsense, not for like a mirror.
Right, yeah, I don't know what they were talking about. And, but I clean the windows the same way, but what's annoying is that my previous apartment, it was possible for me to clean the in and outside of all the windows.
Of all the windows in our apartment, I can only clean the ones in the living room and the balcony. The window here, I have no access to the outside at all, and the building has never cleaned it.
Right, I want the building to come clean the stupid window. I can only clean the balcony ones.
Our building can't clean the window because there's a scaffold around it because our facade failed an inspection and they haven't fixed it yet.
Oh, well, there's no facade around our building
Well, your facade is not broken.
No, but
yet.
If it gets dirtier, I'm gonna ask them to clean it.
Yeah, it's I gave up on that. I just clean the windows in the living room in like the spring and the fall, and otherwise I just don't bother. Because New York, like the amount of dust in New York compared to almost anywhere else in America you could live is terrifying.
Oh yeah,
and windows get dirty so fast. You can't keep them clean. There's
no,
just
but
no
when
way.
they are clean, it's so nice. It's like a whole new world.
Yep, for like a day.
Not for a little while.
Yeah, a couple days.
Depends. All right. Is there anything else that we gotta clean? We clean floors, we clean kitchens, we clean bathrooms, we clean windows.
So how do you what method do you ever mop? Like what method do you use to mop? Like how do you mop? What kind of mop? Do you use like a tornado mop?
I just don't mop. I don't got to mop.
I feel like you should mop. Do you mop your kitchen?
I want to, but I don't got to mop.
Do you want to mop?
I gotta find the best mop.
Any microfiber tornado mop is fine.
I used to have one of those. Didn't work so great.
How do you know how to mop? Explain to me the process that you use to mop with a tornado mop.
I got it wet.
With what? Do you fill a bucket with water?
Yeah.
Do you put anything in that water? Or is it just water?
I tried both ways.
Okay. So then what do you do with the mop? Do you get it wet?
Put the mop in the bucket.
All right. And then what?
Rub the mop all over the floor.
Do you like fully sopped mop, like without wringing it out first?
You wring it out after, when it's full of dirty water. You wring the dirty water out, and then you put more clean water on it.
I don't think you know how to mop.
You're wringing out the clean water.
So Scott, I realized I didn't know how to mop until I worked at that DeBella's, and I had to close.
Well, but whenever I worked at a food place, mopping was easy because it was already like you would just take the yellow bucket with wheels, right, and you had the mop. And you could squirt chemical, and then there was the squeezy thing on the bucket.
Yeah, my mop has a squeezy thing on it.
Yeah, right. So I squeezed the dirty water out into the sink or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think you know how to mop.
Okay.
I did. When I worked at that stupid place, they sat me down and they're like, "Here is the way that you have to mop, so it'll actually like clean things, and we won't get dinged by the health inspectors." And I learned like legit the four different.
So what did they tell you?
So it depends on what kind of mopping you're doing. So basic mopping with a microfiber tornado mop is there's a wet version and a dry version of this. For the dry version, you dunk the mop in the water, get it wet, clean water, mop's wet. Lift the mop up and shake it until no more water is like water is not dripping out of the mop anymore. So it's kind of wet, but not sopping wet. Then mop your area. If it's a big area, break it up into sections with that wet mop, wring it out, then dip it in the water again to clean it out and wring it out again in the water. Then with the dry wrung out mop, use it to sop up all the water you just got all over the floor. That's like the basic method for like the easiest quick mop.
I mean, that's basically what I did when I mopped, except I never tried to
amount of muck and dirt.
I never tried to sop up the water. I would let the water evaporate.
No, because then it's that water that you left there has most of the dirt still in it. That's the problem.
I was scrubbing pretty hard when I was putting that water down.
Yeah, and you're gonna leave most of that scrubbed out muck in that water. You gotta mop the water back up.
That stuff should be in the mop.
No, that's not how mopping works.
But then when I went to wring the mop out in the sink, all kinds of filth came out.
Yeah, but there's more filth down. If you don't mop it back up, you're leaving a lot of the filth on the floor. The other thing is a deep mop is where you actually, there's other way, like there's disinfecting mop or whatever. We live in a house, we don't really need to worry about that. But the other serious mopping you need to do occasionally, especially if you have like a hardwood floor, is you get the mop that's basically just like a big sponge on the end, and you use chemicals, and you like scrub everything with a sponge, basically.
Yeah, that's how my parents wash the kitchen floor.
I do that like once a year.
But they weren't doing what you said of going again with the dry one, and right, they would just be like, "No one go in the kitchen. It's the floor's wet. Just wait till it dries."
That's a bad way to mop in most cases.
That's the way they mopped my entire childhood. They would say, "I'm mopping the floor. Don't come in the kitchen."
Okay, that's
and then once the floor was dry again, then everyone come back in.
I feel like I should link to a bunch of YouTube videos on how to mop.
Maybe.
The only thing that's annoying is that living in New York, mopping like. The amount of just grime that gets into my apartment is so much.
I don't really have to mop the kitchen. I don't really have to mop anywhere else because everywhere else the vacuum, it takes care of everything, right? Yeah. Because I don't allow anything that needs to be mopped to not be in the kitchen-ish area.
True. The kitchen is what I don't actually mop everything once a week. Usually, like I'll do it to pick up dust because there's dust that.
It's like I don't need to mop in the office. What's in there? Right?
Yep.
Nothing.
Though when I mop in here,
dust.
Even despite vacuuming and sweeping, you would be shocked at how much dust I pull up out of this floor when I mop every week.
I mean, yeah, dust just comes from everywhere.
Yeah.
But there isn't going to be like, a splash of tomato sauce from when you were cooking on this floor.
True.
Right? That would need a mop. A vacuum ain't going to take care of that.
Yep. That's why I mop the kitchen very frequently. And I mop with bleach in the bathrooms.
I don't like to use bleach. I like to use ammonia cleaners.
Ammonia's okay. I only use ammonia on glass, though. I tend to use bleach when I'm disinfecting.
The thing I try to avoid the bleach is because the bleach can like sometimes discolor something.
Yeah,
right?
but the bleach will not discolor the tiles in my bathroom. That's the only place I use bleach.
Yeah, well, okay. If you keep it to one place, you're okay.
Yeah, it's bathrooms. I have a different mop for the bathroom. I don't use the mop I use in the rest of the house in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
And that mop is basically for the bleach.
Yeah, you got to watch out for the ammonia bleach combo. No good.
Yep. It's sad to me how many adults don't know that?
My grandpa even fucked it up.
Yep.
I remember one time we came home and we're like, what the fuck did you do? What's wrong with you? Even I know not to do that.
But at the same time, like, from the other
I
perspective,
I think what he had done is like he knew that it was bad, right? But he was like, it cleans so well, and he was just like he knew he had all the windows open and was ventilating, and he's like, I'll be able to clean everything well and not get poisoned by chlorine gas. I preemptively opened all the windows and turned the fans on. Now I can clean with the deadly bleach ammonia combo, and it's like, no.
Yep.
No, you can't. Chlorine will fucking kill you. It's World War I. Don't do that.
But I think part of the problem is that if you don't know chemistry or someone didn't tell you this is dangerous, it is not an obvious danger in the world.
The point is, there's no reason to ever combine two cleaning products.
Nope.
Regardless of ammonia bleach combo, there is no reason to combine two cleaning products. One will get it done. If it doesn't get it done,
It's a shitty cleaning
throw
product.
that shit out, buy something different. Don't use two things at the same time in the same place. There's no reason to ever.
Also,
right? Just get something else that's good enough on its own, and you'll never have a problem.
while I use bleach on the floor of the bathroom to like disinfect everything, the one thing I don't clean with bleach is the toilet, because I pee in the toilet and my pee has some ammonia in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't put bleach in the toilet.
I know
bowl.
that's something serious to worry about, but yeah, I usually will buy something that just says no bleach in it, because why? If I need to bleach something, I'll buy some bleach.
Yeah.
I don't really need to do it that often.
Yeah, I don't
ever.
keep. I don't. Also, you can have a tiny thing of bleach and it'll last you forever because you do not need a lot of bleach.
Yeah, even when I do, like the thing I'll bleach most often is like white clothing. I have the.
I never use bleach for laundry. Detergent and borax only.
I'll use the powdery one.
Yeah, why though?
It's super rare. It's only if something is super white and I really want to clean it.
I don't think I have anything that's super white.
I mean, like a white undershirt, but it's super.
I don't
rare.
wear white undershirts. All my undershirts are like.
I think I had it. I think I used it once,
Yeah.
maybe twice, right? But I have it.
Yeah, my real pro. We've talked about laundry before, so I won't get into it. But I use like unscented, like generic detergent, and I use borax, and that combo is great. And I don't use anything else.
Oh, something. So, just talk about cleaning equipments, right? So I bought the best squeegee on Amazon, right? I bought
the cheapest squeegee on Amazon a year ago, and guess what? It broke after one use.
I bought like the 5-star squeegee.
Yep.
For bathroom, I like anything that is the Scrubbing Bubbles brand. I just like the little character. He's like
Even in RIT, I remember you had the Scrubbing Bubbles in Colony.
It's a guy, this little brushy guy with googly eyes.
Yeah.
That's definitely the best guy, right?
I don't think the bubbles do much though. I feel like he's lying to you.
Oh no, the bubbles just go to make it sound like it's cleaning, but I mean it works as
Well,
well
you know
as
what
any
it's
other
like?
cleaning
It's
product.
like the scam. Like if you buy Selsun Blue or off-brand Selsun Blue, there's the normal one for dandruff, and also Versacolor. Like it works on both.
Well, I mean, it's just
It's an antifungal.
yeah.
And then there's the medicated one. The only difference between the
Menthol.
normal one and the medicated one, they both have the same amount of the medicine
Yep.
that kills the fungus. The medicated one just has mint and aloe and stuff in it, so it feels more medical.
Yeah,
It doesn't
it feels,
actually do
it
anything
feels
different.
tingly. It doesn't. It
Yep.
smells minty or has menthol in it. or
Yep,
whatever.
it'll like make you tingle. Like people put peroxide in a lot of stuff just to make it feel like it's doing more.
Yep.
There's even some medicines that taste bad to make it feel like it's doing more.
Yep. It's bullshit. You gotta
Yep.
you gotta watch out. You can look and see what the actual cleaning chemical is, right? Everything else is
Yep.
nonsense.
And somehow this topic was able to kill more than an hour. We're out.
Oh, I had more to say.
Are you have more to say? Let's go.
I just want to say that when I'm
Final thoughts with Scott.
when I'm wiping down the counter, right? I used to use a sponge.
Oh,
I don't-
we upgraded recently.
I don't like to use anything disposable like a paper towel. 'cause
Yeah, well,
then
the problem
you
is
burn
paper-
through too much of it.
Yeah,
and
the
that's
problem is
bad,
paper towel is the most effective and also like the easiest to deal with.
and also the most wasteful.
Yep, it's the most wasteful, and I always felt bad about it.
So
Emily picked up these fancy, like reusable paper towels.
Oh, okay. Oh, I've seen those. Yeah,
They're really good. They're basically
okay.
like
I remember Kate had them.
they're a washcloth effectively that you can use for all the things you use for paper towel, and
Then they dry out.
Use them for like a week or two, and when they're disgusting, you can still throw them away.
Right. What I have is these soy-based sort of cloths. They're not microfiber cloths, right? Which are only good for cleaning certain things.
Yep.
They're sort of like, like the sponges that start out flat. You put water and they expand.
Yeah.
Imagine if it just didn't expand, but it was just like a big square that you could get wet. And you could really scrub shit down pretty nicely.
Those
with
things
it.
are great.
Yeah, so that's what I use. And also Mr. Clean's Magic Eraser on the top of the stove.
Yep. I also use Mr. Clean's Magic Eraser for scuffs on walls and things.
The best thing is Mr. Clean's Magic Eraser or equivalent non-branded same exact thing.
Yep.
It's not chemically acting. It's just acts on friction. It's like this really tiny abrasive thing, and you just scrub things off. You can use it like to get crayon off a wall. You can use it in all sorts of crazy stuff without if you're worried about like chemically damaging or something like that.
Yep.
So there you go.
So my last thing,
I
got a final thought. There are still uses for paper towel. Like I try to use it less, but like
if you need absorbing
mirrors or cleaning up some like a terrifying.
I'll try it on the mirror when I get home.
Yeah, like cleaning up something that is like has oil or grease on it that you don't want to get that like into your laundry.
You know, I use paper towel more for cooking, like pat dry.
Pat dry
meat.
some chicken.
Or pat dry some shrimpies. That's what I use it for the most.
Yep. Or to like get the grease off of some bacon.
I don't use napkins ever. I only use paper towel.
Same. Napkins are just like an inferior form of paper towel.
Napkins are just boomer things.
But
people don't buy
reusable
napkins.
Napkins are okay.
Yeah.
But
for a fancy party.
So we tried to get some like much more eco-friendly, like I think bamboo-based paper towel. Because if we're gonna use it, I want like the least damaging one.
I buy the one that is the biggest roll with the most smaller sheets, so I can use less at a time.
Yep, I get the ones where I can get like the 3-inch long like strip at a time instead of the giant square, like the foot by foot. Yeah. But we got this eco-friendly bamboo. It is so shitty. It's worthless. We went back. We're gonna go back to like the big, thick, like Midwestern suburban like brawny type stuff.
Yeah, that's what I get. Like Bounty, Braun. The one I have now has footballs.
It's kind of like toilet paper. Like
I bought it around.
I tried to go with like a really eco-friendly toilet paper. Nope. I had to go back to the Charmin.
No, I go to the most luxurious ass toilet paper.
You can't use that Wegmans 1-ply.
No, Wegmans 1-ply. Poopreport.com.
Okay, we're done.